This week portion called Mishpatim, Mishpatim literally means judgments. This is where all the insights regarding the way this life operates, regarding the pathway of our soul throughout many lifetimes, the wisdom, the understandings, our opportunity to awaken, more clarity behind the why of the certain things, events, situations, challenges, pain, blessings that we experience in our life. This is the week that we can invite a greater understanding, greater wisdom to be awakened within ourselves, to be able to access a little bit deeper into the why behind the pathway of our soul in this lifetime and throughout many lifetimes. רבי שמעון writes, פתח רבי שמעון ואמר, ואלה המשפטים אשר תשים לפניהם. תרגום ואלן דיניה תסדר קדמהון. אילן אינון סידורין דגלגולה, דינדין דנשמתין, דידנו כל חד וחד לקבל עונשי. The Zohar writes, Rabbi Shimon opened with the words, and these are the judgments which you shall set before them. This is verse, one of the verses from the literal story of this week, Exodus 21:1. Also in the Aramaic translation, it speaks of judgments. These are the rules concerning reincarnation, namely the judgments of souls that incarnate again in this world to be sentenced, each according to its punishable acts. This is what the Zohar writes. The Rav Ashlag is getting into the wisdom that is coded behind the whole idea of reincarnation, the whole idea of even the words, that the terms that the Zohar has been using here, and explains that, as we know, the way according to Kabbalah that life, this universe, operates is not by the laws of punishment and reward, but rather by the laws of cause and effect. This is one of the ideas that separates spiritual way of thinking versus religious way of thinking. In spirituality, in Kabbalah, we learn that the relationship between the Creator, God, the divine energy, and each one of us is not as punishment and reward, but again, as cause and effect. I believe that many of us received throughout our spiritual journey different glimpses about past life. How many of you have some level of information, awareness regarding your past life? How many of you? Many of us. You can look at the room. And if you haven't got something like this along your path, it is fine. Again, it doesn't mean something wrong with you, right? And I can tell you, with 20 years being involved in this wisdom, someone that had visions, glimpses, pictures, understanding about things that did happen in past life, not necessarily it helps them in the process that their soul needs to go through in this lifetime. Sometimes it will be just another information that does not really affect anything within themselves and their process. So the whole idea, when we're viewing it throughout, again, the eyes of the wisdom of Kabbalah, even though it is important, even though it is possible to receive those glimpses and visions and to see things of past life, there is a whole different way that there is guiding in order to take advantage, especially over the energy of this week, that in this week each one of us can receive even greater and deeper glimpse into our lifetime. But we need to understand, what does it mean according to the teachings. The Ari writes, Rabbi Isaac Luria, that in order for one to complete their soul task in this life, one should be aware of their past life. The Ari does not speak about knowing specific events about your past life, your name, where you lived, your family of past. This is not the point. The Ari talks about knowing your past life. Since time does not exist in the spiritual dimension, your soul, our soul, experiencing the journey as one journey and not fragmented throughout lifetimes. It is one journey with little breaks in between. From the soul perspective, there is no past life. From the second our soul emanated, thousands of years before that moment, and throughout many what we would call lifetime, because the lifetime is the soul comes back into different bodies to experience this life and to receive the opportunities that we've missed in different lifetimes. Again, from the soul perspective, the past is very present. So when we talk about connecting with the lifetime, Kabbalistically we talk about getting to know your lifetime is getting to know, become aware of the essence of your soul. The essence of the soul will be connected with the unique work that your soul came to do in this life. When we speak about the work that our soul came to do in this life, the Kabbalists explain there are two main ideas, that each one of them is divided to many, but there are two main ideas. One aspect of the work of the soul is fulfilling, awakening, manifesting light, energy, that our soul is capable to awaken, but never got to awaken within this journey till this point. So when we talk about past life, in past life, when we speak about the essence, your soul, as great as it is, as the amazing things that you do today in your life, one of the reasons for the soul to come back is simply the universe telling each one of us, you are capable to awaken greater light. This is what we call the surrounding light of the soul. So for instance, if one of us, throughout all the different lifetimes, the journey of our soul till this point, we each have the 100% of the light that our soul is capable to awaken. So if one of us, till this point, awakened 20% of the energy of the goodness that our soul meant to awaken, so the first reason to come back into this life is to get the opportunity to do what? Do what? To awaken the rest of the 80%, not to awaken more. If my goal it is to awaken more, so I might do it. I might awaken another 5%, guaranteed I will need to come back into another lifetime. There will be lots of work that I will not complete in this life. So the first reason of coming back is connected with unfulfilled potential of our soul. In a practical way, not all of us know what is this potential of my soul, but all of us can ask a question. What is and in what ways can you visualize yourself doing greater good in this life? However, there are many reasons why we don't get to do it. Maybe now we feel, we are too busy with many things. One day when I will have more time, I would love to do it. How many of you know what I'm talking about? This is the way to access. Very simple. Not esoteric, not something in the upper world. A simple question. How can you visualize yourself living this life doing greater good? And not in a general way, in a very specific way, because some of us love animals. And some of us, for us to do greater good, it will be to be involved in some way to save animals. For some of us, we don't have this drive because it will not be connected with type of light we need to awaken. For some of us, it will be something different, but we need to be clear. What are those voices, those drives that you have or you had within yourself? That either you haven't listened to them, either you did listen, but you never took yourself all the way into it. The second reason of the soul coming back into the world, it is connected with some type of cleansing, some type of transformation, what we call correction of negativity that we created in different lifetimes that affected us directly, affected other people, other souls. And as Dali explains, that anything that we do affects the collective, the universe, the cosmos. So negativities that our soul came to cleanse, to transform, to correct, that was awakened by our actions in past life. And in this life, this is another reason for the soul to come back. If you want to start to get a glimpse, one of the things, if you do want to find out eventually what is this greater good that I'm supposed to do here, this will be related to certain skills, certain talents, gifts that your soul came with into this world. Many of us might not be aware of our gifts, so many people around us can see the gift that we have. Gift doesn't have to be a clear thing what the world defines as a gift. He is a gifted musician, he is a gift. No. It might be that you're gifted in communication. And someone else, don't know how to express themselves. It's just a gift. It doesn't take an effort for you. It's just a skill that you have. You don't even need to think about it. It might be that you have a gift in leading, in managing. If you have this gift, if I would visit you in the age of 5 in this lifetime, I would see a kid that managing and leading all the school. It's a gift. It is not something you need to work on. You came with this gift into this world. Start a journey of revealing your gifts. What are your gifts? The second thing, you want to get clear about fears that you have, and especially unfounded fears. Fears that you cannot really explain to yourself. Fears are coming from past life. If your fear, and the reason behind your fear, it is something you can find in this lifetime, it is just repeating itself. This fear did not came into you because of what happened in this lifetime. Even the times we're experiencing certain things in this journey of this lifetime, there he explains they are related to times in past life. Meaning, if in the age of 18 in past life, I went through a major event in my life that gave me the opportunity to choose, looking into the opportunity of falling into just being the effect of the situation, in this lifetime, in the age of 18, the same opportunity will come up in different place, with different people, different situations, but the same opportunity to choose the light over being reactive, over allowing the fear to take over being the victim of the situation. The same opportunity will come in. You want to know your past life? Get into recognizing moments, important moments in this lifetime. Moments that affected something deep inside of you. The third thing that I want you to create in the list is unexplained connections that you have with places, for instance, right? I have a connection since the age of 5 with the Far East and with Scotland. I had no idea why, but I felt certain connection with those two places. My friends could see the same pictures I did, but they never felt the same. There are certain unexplained connections that each one of us will have. It can be places, it can be different times. You might watch a movie, and this is the type of movies that you like, they're taking you to this kind of time in history. It can be certain type of individuals in your life. Again, unexplained connection with individuals. This is connections that are rooted in past life, not in this life. So the third thing you need to create, it is a list. Again, I'm guiding you for the work of this week in order to awaken all of this opportunity. Again, to be able to access in a deeper level all what connected with past life and the essence of our soul in this journey. So the third list will be related to unexplained connections. Times, places, individuals. Okay? I want to give you a few minutes to start to create this list of the three things that I mentioned. Okay? Please. In a deeper level, what the Ari explains that knowing our past life will take a process to get to know the root of our soul. The Ari explains that at the very root level, we're all coming from Adam and Eve. But after the fall of Adam and Eve, that represents the first soul, the original vessel, the vessel shattered into many pieces. Each one of the pieces is what we call a spark of a soul that came to correct a very specific aspect, originated within what known, again, encoded as the sin of Adam and Eve. We don't have the same correction. Sometimes I hear people say, you know, the whole correction is transforming my desire to receive for the self alone into desire to receive for the sake of sharing. It's true in a very big picture. What does it mean for you? The root of your soul, it is something that one needs, again, to strive to reveal. No one can tell you the root of your soul. And even if somebody can tell you the root of your soul, Rabbi Ezekiel, within his writings, The Gate of Reincarnation, gives an example of root of souls. He could see because he had a vision beyond this physical illusionary dimension of time and space. He could see throughout times, because in the spiritual level, time does not exist. But even if Rabbi Ezekiel would stand right now here and tell you what is the root of your soul, you'd not probably be able to comprehend what does it mean for you. Because it is something that one must earn in the process, the journey of the soul. The clarity, what does it mean for me? The clarity, this wisdom, this understanding will have to be awakened from within. But Rabbi Ezekiel explains that in order to know the root of my soul, first thing I will need to do is to understand the structure of the soul. So if I do not want to know past life, what do I need to do? I will need to understand more of the structure of the soul. While for most of us, you know, we heard about the idea of the soul. But for us, the soul, it is kind of a one unit, one intelligence, one thing. It's the same, like, you know, if we look at each other and we see kind of one body, right? We know that this one body is divided. There is a structure, external and internal structure for the body. And there are many, 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 many different organs that they all need to work, to function in a proper way for this unit called the body to be healthy. Right? In order for the soul to be healthy, one needs to know the structure within the soul. Meaning that the soul, apparently, it is not just one unit, as many of us think in a spiritual level, soul. The soul has its structure. This is what Rabbi Isaac Luria explains. And he says, Daki ha'adam atzmo, know that the person himself, u'arухaniyut asher betoch haguf, is the spirituality within the body, ve'haguf hu levush ha'adam ve'enenu ha'adam atzmo. And the body is the garment of the person and not the person himself. כי האדם מקשר כל ד' עולמות הביאה. He's saying it's known among the Kabbalists, that a person, an individual, connects all four worlds, and he mentioned the names of those worlds. We talk about spiritual dimensions. The world of Atzilut, which is the world of emanation, the world of Bria, which is the world of creation, the world of Yetzirah, which is the world of formation, and the world of Asiyah, which is the world of action. What is the power that resides within your soul? When we're saying our soul, what is the real power that exists within each one of us? Is to bind and to connect all the worlds, the spiritual dimensions, into one. Each one of us at the soul level, we have the power to remove all the space that exists within all what seem to be fragmented in this world. If we would realize the capability of our soul, we would not stop dance in our life. The things that happen, that triggering our reactive nature and putting us down and feeling as a victim, it's because we are not truly connected with our essence. The essence of the individual is the power to bind and to connect all the four worlds. ולכן בהכרח ושיהיו בו חלקים מכל ארבעת העולמות. So when we look at ourselves, the Ari says that if we would understand this idea, right now within you, there is a force that links to all the four dimensions. And again, we will understand it links also to the fifth one, just not in direct way. So right now, each one of us, soul, whatever our view of our soul right now is linked somehow to 5 different dimensions. Everything we experience is just a reflection of our interaction with those 5 dimensions. So we have the ability and the power to do something, to bind and to unify all those 5 dimensions, to be able to reveal all of this energy and light that our soul is capable to reveal. Or we can ignore what our soul is capable in this life and invest our time, effort in the mundane things that anyway we should invest, but our mind would not be 100% focused on those things if we would truly be aware of the capability of what our soul came to do in this life. Dari explains that those 5 words, there are 4, but the 5th one, which is primordial man, these 5 words are connected in their structure. When we speak about the structure of the soul and this universe, those 5 words are divided into other 5 sfirot, 5 levels of desires. Many times, again, you hear the names Keter, Chokhmah, Binah, Zeir Anpin, Malchut. And he explains that those other 5 are subdivided into other 5. If we look at the structure of the energy of the soul that resides within you right now, in the basic level, because there are many levels, but in the basic levels, there are 125 levels of your soul. 125 levels of your soul. Those 125 levels of the soul, each one of us right now, in this present moment, is in one of those levels. And till I realize what is the actual work needs to be done in that level, to be able to experience evolution, evolution does exist. In order to experience evolution of my soul, to plug in to the next dimension, which is higher manifestation of the light within myself, till I will realize where I am right now, and not by name. It's not that I should know that I'm in the level of Malchut, of Yesod, of Hod. This is not the idea. But what is the specific, unique part of the correction, that the stage of my soul journey? What is it now? What are the opportunities now? I cannot just look at things that are happening into my life and triggering my reactions Just as another thing today, if I'm in a soul journey, I want to hold on to those things that still triggering my reactive behavior, and to realize that all the secret of my soul evolution exists in them. 125 levels. It is one of the subdivisions of the souls. As I mentioned, there are others. But this is the base. This is the base. When we speak about the basic 5 levels, the divided to 5, and Rav Ashlag, in the most powerful and beautiful way, describes it in this book, The Thought of Creation, on page 85 and on. So there are 5 words: Adam Kadmon, primordial man; Atzilut, Bria, Yetzira, and Asiya, which is emanation, creation, formation, and action, related to 5 levels of Sfirot. Sfira, the second line, Keter, Chokhmah, Bina, Zeir, Anpin, Malchut, relates to different lights that can be awakened in each one of those levels. Yechidah, Chaya, Neshama, Ru'ach, and Nefesh, relates to different levels of desires. There's desiring level of root, the desiring level of speaking, in level of animal, in level of vegetable, and level of inanimate. All of those levels are blended within each one of us in different way. This is what makes each one of us unique. Those levels are blended within each one of us in different ways. When we get into the correction, to the actual, if we want to point over what is the actual process that the soul needs to do here, we shrink it down into 3 levels. And again, I want you to understand those 125 levels still exist there. But we will shrink it down to 3 levels. 3 basic out of 5 levels, that things that can be done throughout our process will be related to the level of the Nefesh. You can see the name here. The level of Nefesh would be called the lower soul within myself. The aspect of Ru'ach, which is the aspect called spirit, and the aspect of Neshama, which called soul. So out of the 5, the other 2 will be Chaya and Yechidah. Chaya will be life-sustaining. This is again a name code for the 4th highest level. And the 5th, which is the highest level, we cannot truly manifest it in this life journey. In any life journey, it will be an effect of manifestation of all the rest of the levels, will be called Yechidah, which means oneness. The light that needs to be awakened from the soul correction point of view will be related to the lower 3, in a level of Nefesh, level of Ru'ach, and level of Neshama. Rav Breinwein, I promised I will share something from Rav Breinwein very briefly. Rav Breinwein says that when a person becomes a serious student of this wisdom, I want just to quote him, he's saying, "Kvar en lo lalomed ze makom bemocho." When a person becomes a real student of this wisdom, the student does not have place in his mind להסתכל מחוץ לדלת אמותיו ולחשוב על אחרים, to look outside of himself and to judge others. כי אין לו זמן לזה, because he will not find time for it. There is so much work I need to do. I don't have time now to look outside and to judge the imperfections within others. What they can do and they don't do, or what they do that which is negative that they need to change. No time for that. I have so much work to do. And the whole idea, it cannot come obviously from a selfish place, but the whole idea that if we truly one day want to effect positive change on others, it can be only by correcting and transforming ourselves. Absolutely. Okay? And Rav Ashlag saying, Rav Breinwein says, "V'choshev tamid ech letaken ve'lerapot et atzmo kodem." So this individual that truly takes it seriously, what he will be busy all along, throughout life, again, continuing with life, but where the mind will be, with all of those situations, the triggering and coming in and unexpected, and one thing, how this comes in order to help me to correct something within and to heal something at my soul level. So let's talk briefly about those 3 parts. Okay, Nefesh, Ru'ach, and Neshama. Nefesh is the lower soul, the lower part inside of us. Ru'ach is the spirit higher, and the Neshama is the highest among the 3. Okay? The lowest part, which is the aspect of the Nefesh. And again, as I mentioned before, we need to know what the Ari says, that all of those levels are blended within all of us. So you will be able to find all of those levels within you. However, one cannot truly awaken the full extent of the energy in the level of Ru'ach without correcting fully the level of the Nefesh. One cannot awaken fully the light in the level of Neshama, what we are capable of in the level of the Neshama, without correcting fully the aspect of the Ru'ach. The level of the Nefesh is connected with type of desires that we all have within ourselves that are aligned with the body consciousness. With the body consciousness. We all have body desires. If it is food, if it is sex, rest, sleeping, we all have body desires. One who is in a level of Nefesh, and this level has greater correction, those desires will rule over the choices that they make. If two people are hungry and one is choosing to steal and the other one is choosing not to, in a sexual level, if one, and we talk about sex in the level of Nefesh, it is not sex that is attached to love. It's pure physical, 1% pleasure, and that's it. One that is drive, his desires, his actions are ruled by those physical levels to the degree that the actions are ruled by those physical levels. This is the way one can realize that the main correction will be in the aspect of Nefesh. In order to start to make corrections in that level of Nefesh, that again, one might be connected with the Nefesh of Nefesh of Nefesh. Remember, 5, right? Divided to 5, divided to 5. One might be more elevated, right? Which is connected with the Ru'ach of the Neshama of the Nefesh. It still has those desires, but they are less controlling them. This is why when you go into a true transformation, different drives that you had that never led you to a better place in your life, and you knew that. Again, I'm falling into this instant gratification and doing and choosing the wrong thing, but I couldn't control it. Because the type of the drives coming from the level of Nefesh. It doesn't mean right or wrong. It just means get to know what are you dealing with, what type of a correction you have. If you really want to elevate, you need to get to know that. And obviously to be honest with ourselves. This is a level of Nefesh. The correction for the level of Nefesh is very simple. Simple not for one that deals with the correction of the Nefesh. For them it will be very complicated. Or for us in those areas it will be complicated. But relatively to the correction in level of Ru'ach and Neshama, to reveal greater light, there is greater corrections to do. So relatively to the higher levels, the correction in the level of the lower soul, the Nefesh, is very basic. It's dependent on actions, not consciousness. When one is realizing that they have a major correction or some level of correction in the level of Nefesh, still being ruled, right? Sex, food, if I don't eat, I get angry. It's controlling me. Now it controls all of us. But to what degree? Is this ruling over the actions and the way you live your life? This is okay, just pay attention. You need to bring some correction into that. Awakening correction in level of Nefesh relates to actions. Two things, positive and negative. If one truly wants to focus, if we do realize there is, again, some level of great level of correction in level of Nefesh, it will not be about, you cannot control those urges. We cannot control those urges when they're coming in the level of Nefesh. The level of the Nefesh, there is not enough power to control those urges. We'll get upset and angry if certain of those things don't happen. We cannot control it. It's robotic because the vessel of the Nefesh doesn't have the ability to control it. But if we want to develop that vessel, this vessel, by the way, is divided in 613 limbs, kind of spiritual channels. If we want to develop all the healthy channels within ourselves, level of Nefesh will be related to actions. Get clear with yourself. Simple actions, add positive actions into each one of the days of your life. Simple actions. If you recognize some negative actions that you do, focus on stop doing the negative actions. There are many stories of many of the Kabbalists that students would come to them to ask them for a pathway to transform. And the first step would be, just take 3 years to work on stop do the negativities that you do and start to do some positive things that you're capable of doing in your level. That's it. Focus on the good that you can do. Focus on stop the negativity that you do. Even if it is 1%, very technical, if at the time of not getting what you want, you're getting angry and this makes you screaming on people, stop screaming on people. Drink water. Take a break. Stop do that. As you focus on it, the Zohar explains, in the pathway that you choose, the divine will assist you. If you choose to go in this pathway, you will see how you receive assistance from above. Level of Ru'ach and Neshama, they deal with different type of corrections. The level of Ru'ach, the level of desires within this frame, they are greater, more elevated desires, less physical desires. If in the level of Nefesh, they are related to kind of what the Ari would call desires that belong also to the animal kingdom, in the level of Ruach, there are new levels of desires, not physical. Desire for respect, desire for power, for fame, desire for recognition. There are already new levels of desires. In order to start to correct, again, and to reveal the light in that amazing level called the Ruach, one needs to start to recognize when what you do is driven by those desires. And again, we're all driven to some extent by those desires. The difference will be how much do we recognize and how much do we work towards transforming. Correction in level of Ruach is not enough just to do the good and stop doing the bad. The correction of the Ruach, as Rav Ashlag explains here by the writings of Rabbi Ezekiel Luria, that comes from the source, from the Zohar, is not just about what you do. A person can do all the long positive actions. The max amount of light that one can awaken by positive actions, it will be the level of Nefesh, the lowest level of light. So one can do so much good and still awakens only light in the lowest level. In order to awaken light in the level of the Ruach and the level of the Neshama, the Ari and Rav Ashlag explain, it requires deeper intention into what you do. If my intention, for instance, is just doing good or not doing bad, which is great level, but this level correcting and awakening the energy only in the level of Nefesh, that the Ari explains that most of the world is in this level. But if one wants to work towards awakening the light of the Ruach within, which is a whole new level of abilities being awakened within ourselves, actions of the good deeds or stopping the negative deeds are not enough. This will never awaken this new frame of power that exists within your soul. The correction and the awakening of the light in the level of Ruach Neshama require a whole new level of intentions behind our actions. How practically you do it? Start to recognize good things that you already do in your life. And you do it just because you believe it is good to do, which is amazing. Don't change it. What I'm asking you, just add into it. What can be a deeper intention behind what you do? Because if I do good for you, I'm giving you wisdom. I believe it's something good. Otherwise, I would not do that. I would not sit here. If I would believe that I can do something that will reveal greater light right now, I would do something different. You would not see me sitting here. Meaning, I don't do it because I'm doing the good for you. I believe that what I do reveals light within my soul. The intention is different. Of course, we want to do good for others. Of course. This is the basic level of human. This level of Nefesh. You want to awaken the light of the greater light called the Ruach within yourself? Start to think, what can be a deeper level of intention? Deeper level of intention will be always related to revelation of light between you and your soul. Because as we mentioned before, how much can I give the world is how much I'm awakening within myself. I cannot give you something I don't have. You can speak to people. You can try to make a difference in their life. And you might feel sometimes that you are kind of a broken record. You say the same things to the same person and they don't get you. How many of us experience something like that? Correction of Ruach. Why I would say the same thing and the person does not get me? It can happen with our kids. How many times I told you, right? And we think that they don't get it. No. They don't get it because we don't get it. I cannot tell you do something that I don't do by myself. If I'm telling you, be more patient, and I can easily find in my life moments that I'm lacking patience, my words will not affect any change. I might believe that people are not smart around me, don't get what I'm saying. You know, it's so simple, why you don't get? No, people don't get what I'm saying because the spiritual place where I'm speaking from is lacking something. So in order to work on awakening the light in the level of the Ruach, we need to pay attention, again, to the intentions behind it. More specifically, as we mentioned, in the level of Ruach, higher desires. Higher means less physical. If I do something and the intention behind it, consciously or subconsciously, is to get recognition, a correction of Ruach, my words will not truly have the power to affect change in the way that they could. Because what's behind it is an intention. I need respect here. Again, it's much higher level of correction, but much higher light when a person starts to deal with these levels of corrections. There are so many ways that the Kabbalists describe the level of the Neshama. But the level of the Neshama is even higher than injecting intention into what we do. And again, it's something that might sound very simple, maybe very trivial, but there is lots of depth in it. It's when you get to inject, again, the type of intention behind what you do with the meaning of your life. It is not just because I believe it is good. It's not just because I realize that this reveals light, for my own self. It awakens the light of my Ru'ach. So I'm dealing with the transformation and correction in the levels of my need, urges for respect, honor, recognition. In the level of the Neshama, a person does not deal with the desire for respect and honor and recognition. They don't have it. And they don't have it, again, in a way that they don't have the need to receive it from the outside. They have it, but it's not affecting them. It doesn't affect the individual in level of Neshama. And everything that they do in order to correct that level of Neshama is by searching what is the meaning for my life of doing what I'm doing. And again, big questions, but without asking the questions, there is, according to the Ari and all the wisdom, again, the questions will be the pathway to achieve the connection. Especially when it comes, again, to the structure of our soul, past life, reincarnation, all of this journey, in order to be able truly to nail things down in our process and to evolve to new levels.